sports fans, please be advised that this podcast contains zero sports, unless you count cornhole. Oh, wait, there is. Sorry, what team are you representing this evening?
I'm representing my one and only baseball team, the New York Mets, with a 1988 jersey.
That hasn't been washed since 1988?
I get my jerseys dry cleaned like any adult man.
Folks, this is Bloody Day Fiancé. My name is Michelle. I'm an American expat who normally resides with my husband over in London, England, as I have done for the past 15 years, but I'm currently in Los Angeles with my co-host, Jack.
Hey, here's my official introduction for the week. As a lot of you may know, I originally hail from New York City, Manhattan, and I have been caught in the Los Angeles swirlpool, hot tub for 10 years. Okay, if you want to call this a melting pot, we will, although that's offensive to New York City. But love it here. It's beautiful. We had a very LA weekend, which I'm going to get to in a second, I think, unless you want me to get to it now, Michelle.
You can get to it now.
It was Diana and my 11th wedding anniversary. We had a really great time celebrating, and Michelle went out of her way to make the day special for us.
Oh, stop.
Oh, don't shortchange what you gave us here. You
bought me a drink. You bought me a cocktail when I dropped you off at the special surprise, which, in all fairness, I told you was going to be a day-long sweat lodge / hike. With the temperature nearing 100 degrees Fahrenheit here in Los Angeles. I just thought that was going to be great. And then during the hike, I was going to set you up with a marriage counselor who would force you to do talk therapy the whole time. So
my mother-in-law. Is that what you were going to do?
Imagine my surprise when we rolled up to a lovely hotel in Hollywood and I told you you would be staying there for the day. And you weren't disappointed.
Oh, no, you knocked this one out of the park. Diana was very happy, too. We did a nice little day at a major hotel in Hollywood. We did the pool, and we had a room and food. And as I was telling Michelle that day, too, it was actually really cool because something you don't see a lot in this quote-unquote melting pot of Los Angeles is a mixed group of people, and that's what I had, which was fantastic. We actually heard some reggae music, and we got a lot of Caribbean vibes, which are always very welcome to us.
Such a touchstone in your relationship and your personal history, too.
This is true. Lots of Caribbean travels, but it was a lovely day, and then we got to celebrate with Michelle when we came back.
If by celebrate you mean have a drunken argument with me at 1 a.m., then yes, we did celebrate. But we did have fun before that. What did we watch?
Were we watching? Wait, what did we watch? Now.
You guys watched so to put things in context, y'all, on Friday, I have chronic fatigue syndrome. And I had my first flare up since I've been to LA, which I've been here for about a month now. I've so enjoyed my time here and just absolutely been soaking up the sun. Yes, it's very hot, but I try to get up early enough to go for a walk and really just enjoy. I swear this place is really magical. Anyway, I did drop off Jack and Diana in the afternoon, and they bought me a cocktail that probably cost more than the day pass at the hotel that I got for them.
I have to interrupt here because there was a reason that you needed that cocktail.
We don't need to bring that up again. But it had something to do with,
there was a crazy
someone else's
road rage
person. Yeah.
Yes. We did nothing. We didn't say anything. No. We didn't get involved, but
nope.
Let's just say it was a high tension moment and we all needed a cocktail.
Yeah, we really did. And I decided to take the party on home. I caught up with Robin, who some of you have been asking about. He is absolutely fine. It's difficult for him to have another item on his plate at the moment. There's a family situation that's going on and has been for the past several months. And those of you who know, and those of you who don't, it's, I'm not trying to be that asshole. It's not that I think that I'm that important, but because it's not my side of the family, I don't really feel right talking about it. So I won't. And please respect my decision. He loves all of you. He's looking forward to coming back on an ad hoc basis, but given his parenting responsibilities and work and everything else, he's just not able to take this on as a regular thing. And as we've always said, Jack is an addition, not a replacement. Robin is always going to be a valuable member of the team, and we love him so much, and we just throw all of our support behind him, as we know you all do as well. So thank you to everyone who has asked. I really appreciate your care and concern, and he does too. Anyway, after I caught up with my husband, I decided I was going to treat myself to watching a very problematic
Oh my
early
goodness.
90s film that I had already seen, but probably not in the past 20 years. The Crush, starring Alicia Silverstone and Carrie Elways. Um, I struggle to see where a 14-year-old is the bad guy when there's a 28-year-old who is coming on to her
I
at
think
one
the
point.
multiple murder attempts might cloud the 14-year-old girl's innocence in that film.
Sure, but he still kissed her passionately at a
Now,
lighthouse.
to be fair, I came in and I only saw the last like 8 minutes of this
Yeah.
movie, and I haven't seen it in 20 years either. But it did strike me as a lot creepier because he was 28, he was playing 28, and she's playing 14. For the record, she was 19 when they made the film, and he was
I
like,
don't know that she
whatever,
was 19. I'm sure she was at least 16 or 17.
legal
I
in
I
some
hope
states.
I hope I hope.
But so that was that put you in a really great mood. I think that was a good kind of like solo journey for you to go
That
on.
put me in a wonderful mood. I had some more delicious cocktails that I made at home, and I may have overindulged, and we ordered pizza. And at that point, I was bloated. I'm also in the shadow of my period, who I have named Lindsay in honor of Lindsay Hubbard of Summer House. Those of you who know what that's like. So as I was telling Diana earlier, I'm approaching that Friday. I'm a couple days out from that Friday where Lindsay arrives on the same day as Carl, and the whole vibe is thrown off for the whole weekend. And yeah, I just felt like picking a fight after having a really beautiful, lovely evening celebrating two of my best friends and my generous and selfless hosts during my time in Los Angeles. So
Oh, Michelle, we
super
love
proud.
you. Come on. It's all the dust under the carpet, water under the bridge. What do we call it? But water under the bridge. That's
Yeah.
more apt.
I've also learned. I think our listeners would be pleased to hear this. I've learned how to distinguish Jack's pain and distress cries from his "there's a spider" cries.
Now, to be clear, I just want to say, as a glasses wearer, maybe some of you can understand, is you don't have great peripheral vision. It's not, you can't see. So you just see things moving out of the corner of your eye. What Michelle's responding to, what Michelle is referring to, is my scream at a spider about this big, I don't know, about a $half size, wandering around the bathroom while I was in there. And if you're a man standing, you're kind of stuck in one position or you're going to create a little bit of a mess. So, no mess, but I did scream. I won't do the full scream because I don't want to hurt anyone's ears, but it's basically so what Diana was explaining to Michelle is that, like, because Michelle was afraid I got hurt or something. If I got hurt, you'd just hear like, would it be what'd she say, a scream or a curse first?
No, it would be just a fuck, like an emphatic
Yes.
fuck.
Oh, getting mad at myself for
Yeah.
bumping into something, as opposed to as opposed to the spider cry, which is, oh my God, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Help, help.
Yeah,
So that
that's a faithful recreation. Um, some other stuff happened this weekend too, and Mercury's not even stationed
retrograding yet?
retrograde yet. So wow, we won't go into that because you come here for a break from all that. So why don't we then?
Go into heavy political commentary. No, no, not
No,
on this program.
no, not on this program. That's not what we're here for.
You know what we are here for, though?
What?
We're here for a little cosplay today, I think. What do you think?
I prefer to call it, well, I guess it is cosplay because if those
Hey.
of you on the Patreon will be able to see both Jack's glasses and his spider face and my clownishly overlined lips, which actually don't look so bad on this camera. Like they actually look a little bit more
No,
subtle.
you look pretty good. You don't
But
look like our friend Soph.
in real life, they're up close. They're not very nice. Um, anyway, I just felt like I needed it to get into the spirit. So again, this is 98 Fiancé Happily Ever After, season 8, episode 19, entitled "And They All Lived dot dot dot."
Get it because of the show title and the ellipsis?
Mm-hmm. No mystery there. Now, before we get into a little role play, as we are wont to do, um, how did Rob mature 20 years overnight?
You mean, how did he go from one of the most hateable people ever to like, kind of feel bad for this guy. He seems all right.
Yeah. I mean, I hated this dude.
Me too.
Like, I had Big Ed level disdain for him.
Well, because he seemed like he was like a non entity, sort of like floating around without any thoughts. And for me, at least, I think we started getting to hear a lot more about what's going on in Rob's brain than we have before.
That's so true. And in retrospect, I think a lot of the early stuff was male depression. And I'm not saying that everything or that depression in any way excuses. I'm not talking about the abusive or the coercive or controlling behavior, okay? That's inexcusable no matter what state of mind you're in or what your degree of mental health is, okay? Um but I can, looking back with this new, more sympathetic lens, I can see that so much of his shutdown and flatline and non-responsiveness is our depression symptoms. It looks different in men than it does in women.
It really does. And I was glad you pointed that out, both now and in person when we were watching the show, because I started getting creeped out like 2 or 3 episodes ago, where I think I confessed to you off air that I was like, kind of feel like I'm relating to Rob a little bit, and it's making me uncomfortable. And then I don't know if that, to me at least, I started looking at him a little differently. And then when you brought up the male depression thing, yeah, I've been depressed before, and it's looked a lot like Rob's behavior the last few months.
Right? Because it's anger and
Hurt.
hurt, but not hurt that you show through asking for help or through tears, but the anger becomes numbness. And
Yes.
this is why, it's why I have some sympathy for. Now, do our values align? Absolutely not. Do I endorse his views? Categorically no. But Ethan Plath is going through the same thing, and yeah, I've seen that in men who are very close to me, and it's really frustrating, and it's really hard to remind yourself that this is what depression looks like and that there's a lot of pain under the surface. But because, as Jake and Maddie on Reality Gaze always point out, it's not acceptable for straight men to show any emotion that isn't anger, it often gets misread as anger or sulking or whatever. And
Well, and
so
I think you and I are a little guilty of that with Rob, because I think we looked at him as a sulker
yeah.
for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But and you tell me if I'm off base here, but for me, and I think for you as well, it was just getting this different side of Sophie. I don't know if it's a different side, but just her actions, and then Rob kind of taking that beat, going home, having his birthday, turning down a quote unquote attractive woman at the bar he was at, and then he ends up home, or back in Texas, let's say, and I don't know, it felt like suddenly he was kind of there trying to figure it out. And Sophie's just, I mean, which we'll get into, but Sophie is kind of like, why are you leaving? Which that's the one thing from this episode that's really stayed with me after we watched it, which is, why is he leaving? Like, what? Like, are you part of the same show that I'm watching? That was my feel.
She says she's willing to try, but she expects him to show her why he deserves another chance.
I would say him waking up, not being catatonic, and trying to talk to her about their marriage is waking up. I mean, fair?
Yeah. Um yes. And there's something else I want to get out of the way too. I suffer from debilitating anxiety. I couldn't get on a plane for 10 years. It impacts my daily life and lots of other things. I will never ever mock someone who is going through that. And I'm not going to do that here either. But it is apparent to me that that she's leveraging this to get sympathy from him, which I don't appreciate. And it's clearly something that, and then on the other side of this, you also have Kay, who is never more of a predator than she is now, where she's just like looking for that weak moment, like Sophie's like this wounded gazelle and she can't wait. And it's just really, I thought that was so gross. And ladies out there, hetero ladies, I'm sure you've had someone like this in your life, a man perhaps a little bit older who pretends to be your friend and a quote unquote older brother figure. But
Gross.
actually he's sweetening you up for the feast, as it were.
I
Uh,
just want to jump in and say, because I don't really talk about this too much, but I have actual panic disorder. It used to be severe. Started when I was in high school, although probably was going on a little bit before then. And so I've been working on myself for the better part of my life to get past anxiety, and I have, for the most part, gotten past debilitating anxiety or anxiety that gets in the way of things. But I kind of internally always carry around some anxiety. So, look, I can understand where Sophie's coming from or how she feels, but as you said, look, whether you're doing it on purpose or not, some people have a penchant for using their issues in a manipulative way for their advantage. I'm not.
yeah,
we'll get into the discussion on. I don't know if Sophie's doing that. I'm just throwing that out that is something that can occur in the world.
I would add to that mental health conditions are not a fait accompli.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to say in a relationship, oh, I have abandonment issues, so I need you to adapt to just the way I am, and that's how it is forever. You are entitled to say, hey, I have abandonment issues. I need you to be patient with me, especially when I act out my insecurity and I project these things onto you. I just want you to know that I normally realize it, and you can help me by offering me comfort in the form of a hug, or asking me, just de-escalating things in some way. Like, that's your mental health is not your fault, as they say on last podcast on the left. Your mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility as an adult. And it's hard for me to look at her like an adult, but it is the conversation that they're having around the breakup. Let's focus on that, and we
Yes.
can do a little role play around that.
Absolutely. Where do you want to start with them? You want to start at the beginning of this scene today? Hey, Sophie, I was just, just hoping we could kind of chat today. And
No, I don't want to talk to you. Just get the fuck out.
yo, Soph, I just, we got some stuff we got to work out. I want to.
No, no. I need you to go away, Rob. I need you to go away forever and never talk to me again. Ever, Rob.
Okay, Sophie, I'm being serious. Like, if you make me leave, like, I'm leaving for good, okay?
Well, fine then. I never want to speak to you or see you ever again.
Okay, Soph, that's not what I wanted, though. Like, I wanted to be able
Just
to chat.
leave. I'm being K right now. Go away. You are the literal devil. You are so fucking disgusting. Get out of my house.
I'm not in your house. I'm in a common space outside of your apartment.
Well, get out anyway, or I'm going to call the police on your ass.
Oh, lovely. Girl K. I'm going to go back to my car now. Thank you so much.
Rob, wait.
Yeah, Sophie, what is it? I'm still here, still willing to talk.
I just can't believe that after all we've been through and me turning all my friends and family against you, that you would break up with me. Why can't you just come round and show me that you deserve another chance, Rob? I don't understand. That's the way it's supposed to happen.
Sophie, let me ask you, what can I do to earn that extra new chance?
I don't know. You're just supposed to show up and magically intuit exactly what I want when I want it, Rob. It's so unfair.
Are you going to stay in my car, Sophie? Or... You turning into a crocodile, Sophie?
And scene. Sorry, I really didn't mean to make fun of her crying.
Come on, where
I
are
forgot,
we
I did
here?
her voice way too low because I got emotional, but it really should be right up here. That's where it needs to stay. I should have done that. Should have done that, Rob. Sorry.
Well, Soph, just like our relationship, you can't ever get anything right. You know what I'm saying?
He was so fucking reasonable. He was so reasonable and rational. But y'all, I have to share with you, I have some dark tendencies myself, and I get really mad when I'm arguing with someone and they don't match my energy. It's a toxic trait. I fully own up to it, but come at me if your reptile brain tells you that if someone isn't matching your energy during an argument, that means that they don't care about you. And you've seen it time and time again in every relationship since you dropped your abuser. And yeah.
So that's the light portion of the show, yeah?
That's the light portion of the show. Let's move on to a little... who's a little bit easier than... I guess let's talk about Angela and Michael.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, no, let's talk about Emily and Kevin.
Yeah,
because that's a little bit like,
that one's just kind of like dumb. But no one's
actually, I'm going to get really mad. Let's go to Lauren and Alexi first. So Alexi
I'm going to get mad at that one, so it's fine. Let's pick our poison.
Yeah, exactly. We can switch off being really angry. So Alexi has organized a party to celebrate Lauren's recovery from the surgery.
For the record, I just want to say she looks fantastic. Everything looks like it went according to plan for her, and I guess that means there's not going to be any like issues in terms of looks going forward for her.
Now, Jack, one of her friends is a therapist. I'm going to say that I don't know what I would say. I know that it's not her therapist, and that therapists in general are discouraged from giving advice, and maybe that's why she was hedging. But if she has any experience whatsoever with Dottie dysmorphia, I really think that she had a duty to, share some information, even on a sort of third-hand basis. What did you
Just to be
think?
clear, I was not laughing at body dysmorphia. Michelle was
No, you were
quoting,
laughing at Dottie
yes,
dysmorphia.
because that was the direct quote from one of the friends there at the table, who's Alex's friends, who says, if you're going to get over your Dottie dysmorphia, so okay, that's where we're going. Just had to be clear. That's what I was not
I can
laughing at.
never hear it any other way now. It's all about Dottie dysmorphia. So, look, there's no, as per usual with them, there is nothing new. There is nothing added to the table. I really appreciated though, and I'm always here for an Alexi appreciation segment. I think the way that he talked to her was so empathetic and well reasoned and compassionate, and it's really hard to get all those three things, especially from a cishet male. It just doesn't happen that way. Like, you either get, I'm going to fix the problem, or I'm going to listen to your feelings, both of which, have their place. But he really opens up to her and says that he's insecure about
His hair,
his
his
hair,
face.
his face. Those would be very far down on the list for me if I looked like Alexi.
I think his point was that we all have things that we don't love about ourselves, but someone like, and look, this is getting into a tough area here because she does have body dysmorphia, and we have Alexi who doesn't, who's talking about, hey, there's some
Hmm.
stuff I don't like about myself, but hey, I go through every day. So it's a little different there, but I think what we're going to see in our discussion here is just, I'm not sure. Look, this, I think Lauren has some very self centered tendencies. And I think, as one of her friends says in this episode, she has trouble living in the moment or being happy with what's in front of her. That's her friend's words.
Yes. I don't. Now, Lauren is self centered, but I don't think that that the issues that she's struggling with are unique to self centered people. And
Absolutely not.
I
I
don't
agree.
want to over index this, but we've been saying all along this is about identity and values and what she needs out of life and what she wants out of life not lining up. And I think a therapist would help her tremendously. I think even a life coach would help her tremendously. I'm not putting life coaches down by saying that. I'm just saying, if she really didn't feel like she could dig into therapy, or she's had bad experiences before, having any kind of coach is really helpful. I had a career coach who really helped me identify what my goals were in life, what my values were, and it helped me tremendously. It made me realize that I had no place working at the place that I worked. And she really helped me quit my job and move and focus on working for myself, which I'm still doing to this day. With, I've learned that my career coach helped me understand that if I have a business or a project or an enterprise that fails, that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. And I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I wasn't occasionally able to convince myself that that's true. Because of course, I'm an Enneagram 4. I have one of my wings is the achiever, so I'm never going to accept that um it's a nice thought. It's beautiful to think so, that I won't base my self-worth on my achievements, but at this point in my journey, that's a tough thing to struggle with. And maybe the day that I don't is the day that I achieve more than I ever thought possible. But this isn't about me. Let's put a button on them and move on to Ashley and Manuel at this wonderful birthday dinner that I can only hope I get,
Well, do we have a surprise for you lined up?
are you going to get my husband's family to talk to me about my financials? I'll
I'm
let
just going to get
you.
the family here to talk to you about where you're spending all your money
Oh God.
specifically.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's all food, if you must know.
I cut you off. What were you going to say to me?
I was going to say, I'm going to let you steer this segment because I can't talk about it without getting deep into places I don't want to get
Okay,
into.
so no problem. Now I will say, okay, we're picking up, and this is a continuation from last week's setting with them, where they're at the whiskey tasting place. Everyone's real drunk, like several drinks in. They were doing shots, having mixed drinks. So just to set that stage, they're in Rochester at a whiskey place. Everyone's real drunk. Ashley's friends, mother, sister, cousin, everyone's there. Ashley and Manuel were in a great place from that earlier morning when they woke up together. He spoke to her, and then it all gets drummed up again because, sorry, Ashley can't keep her fucking mouth shut because, and I say it that way because you should not, especially on your partner's birthday, start going into depth about your personal finances. It's not going to make anyone happy, and it's definitely not going to make a guy like Manuel open up. He's drunk, and I don't know what she was hoping to achieve. What was achieved is what I thought was going to occur from the beginning.
Total alienation. You folks, you must find, if you're ever in a situation like this, just know that if your friends and family are loyal to you and you want them to like your partner or even form their own opinions, you can't let them be the people who weigh in on every decision and influence every choice you make. You just can't.
Well, and that's what Ashley does here, because we don't get Ashley like coming up to Manuel and bringing up money and everything. We have her mom and her sister. Where's the $1,000? Where's the money at? Then Ashley turns to, where's my money at? And it turns into this whole thing. And of course, look, I can't really defend Manuel because he's lying again. Does he have good reason? Did he do something that was right for someone else and not for Ashley? Seems that way, but he did lie. So it's a little hard for me to like take his back on this. I will say he took $1,000 and he used it for bills. Did he ever put it in the bank for savings like he said he did? Probably not. I mean, just to be honest, but the difference is, and this is where they're just at like a loggerheads here because they don't understand the difference with each other. Manuel says, I don't need to tell you about that $1,000. I gave it for bills back home in Ecuador. And then it turns into a nasty thing because then it's not just, hey, that's what it was for. And sorry, I didn't tell you about it. It was, you spend money like a fucking idiot. Like, I know how to spend money. You don't know how to spend money. My $1,000 that I spent on necessary things compared to your $300,000 student debt. And then we get into a whole rigmarole of bullshit because everyone's drunk. You bring up the student debt. Ashley's going to get real, squirrely about that. And then Manuel's just going to walk away because that's what he does. And, I guess there's not a lot that happened in this scene, today for them. So I guess I'd just love to hear, like, what's your takeaway from, like, what did Ashley want to have happen? Or is she just so angry that she's getting caught up in this moment and has that much, like, vitriol stored up for Manuel?
I don't think that, I don't think Ashley is, and this is going to sound crazy. Um, I don't think that Ashley is curious enough about her own emotions and her own internal insecurities and processes. And she is someone who weaponizes her trauma and uses it as a fait accompli at the same time. So she'll be like, oh, you can't do that to me because my dad abandoned me. Right. And
Yes.
all of these things. And, whether I don't know what to say anymore about these two because I don't think it's about the money. I don't think it's about the ex-girlfriend. I don't think it's about his family. I think this is just expectations that someone can never live up to. And I don't know what she was thinking getting into a relationship with someone whose values are so different to her own. And I'm not saying one person's is better than the other. I'm just saying they will never agree. And it won't, even though the primary narrative here is about money and it's the financial aspect, like that might be the sorest point, but it's by no means the end. Like if they weren't arguing about money, they would be arguing about something else. I promise you.
Because do you think that their like fight fuck thing would happen whether it's money or something else, right? That would have been their salve for everything.
Yeah, but now it's not really working because they can't even get hard or wet for each other. Like that's I'm seeing some real contempt creep
You're
in.
saying not the filthiest public restroom could get these two turned on for each other right now.
No, no, no. And
So
I
now,
don't know if that's I don't know if that's enough. And we've so one thing that's occurred to me, and I keep hesitating because I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I think that for some people, and Ashley might be one of these people, she conflates a sexual relationship with and sexuality in general with closeness. And when you do that, and you don't have enough sex to make you feel better, and sex becomes something that you use to self soothe, then you get into a different kind of territory and a different kind of relationship that is really toxic and unhealthy. And I wonder if the solving everything with sex was a fun thing in the beginning, and then it was something that she needed, and now she maybe doesn't have that anymore, similar to Gino and Jasmine, actually, where like sex is a kind of currency, and when sex becomes currency in your relationship and it's not about being close to someone, or one person just has a different idea of what it is than the other person does, then it becomes an obligation.
I totally agree. The one major difference I want to point out between those two couples, neither Ashley nor Manuel has ever said anything nasty about physicality or sexuality or anything like that. So we don't get into that Jasmine territory, but calling your husband a liar every second and saying you don't trust anything he says, that could cause problems. And if he is a liar and can't be trusted every second, that could cause more problems.
Yeah, that's gonna erode some of the trust.
But so do you think, I mean, is there anything, and I don't want to speculate on if they're still together or not right now, because we'll see that next week. But, and my gut tells me I do think they're still together. But do you think that there's any fix for this, when it's gotten to this point where, I mean, they're no better off to my eyes than they were the day he got there?
No, no, I don't see how this progresses unless somebody bends to the breaking point.
Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to say, just I forgot to mention it, was just when you were talking about how they're never going to see eye to eye, you're right. Because look, it's a different lifestyle of where they grew up, obviously, but Manuel's literally looking at like every 20 bucks or however you want to break it down, like
Mhm.
every small increment as this can go so far to help my people back in Ecuador. And he's never going to be at a place, no matter how much money he makes, in my opinion. I don't think he's ever going to say, hey, cool, let's go spend like $200 on this candle making workshop. Let's go buy crystals. He's not going to do that. You don't have to do everything your partner wants to do, but he doesn't respect what she wants to
No,
do.
no, no. And she can't put herself in the place of she's never going to understand where he came from or how he grew up to the extent that it will engender any empathy, which is what she would need to kind of build that bridge or repair it in any way, shape, or form. So let's talk about Gino and Jasmine. Again, I can't say any of this is new. I can't say that I have anything to add here. Really, the only thing that I have are small observations. Um,
Was there really much more to take away from this today? I mean, these are right. I mean, I don't feel like a lot happened between them today. It's
no,
all
but
continuation.
she was, I am going to be forever haunted by the image of her moving around in her ball gown, weeping like fucking La Llorona.
Well, I had asked you. Can't. You said that to me when I asked you if you think there's any merit to like a supercut of Jasmine wandering around crying in different outfits. Well, I mean, I was thinking of when they went to that place, that beautiful place where Gino brought the really sexy gift of the electric toothbrush, and
Yeah,
that went flying, and she was in a thong for like 12 hours walking around the grounds.
but she was walking with purpose. With this, it just felt like like I
Ah.
couldn't see her feet, which was the other
Oh,
like
like she was gliding.
creepy thing. And it's just this sort of like, oh God, I don't know. It felt very ghostly, appropriate for Halloween, which we could tell was
From
going
the
on from the bat,
bats.
bat, bat, bat,
Bat,
bat,
bat,
bat,
bat.
bat, 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 bat wallpaper. Listen, no one loves bats more than I do, but that was a lot of bat.
It was a wall full of
It was a
bats, really.
wall of bats. Um, I'd also like to know one that Diana would be well positioned to run interference here, and that I think that she could actually get them to a place where they could actually speak to each other. Diana is a really good mediator, among other things. Um, I also thought it was impressive that Gino stood his ground when he was told to leave.
Oh, you're talking about the miraculous sudden backbone that Gino sprouted?
You know what? I've seen that backbone where money is concerned. So he obviously has a line. It's just
Well, I mean, yeah, when you get to money and all that stuff, I mean, you got to have a backbone.
right. You ready to talk about Kobe and Emily?
In a second, I just want to touch on one thing because we went way too fast through Gino and Jasmine. I know you don't want to stick around there too long. Just one part, one part.
Okay.
Just want to, just because their major thing was the paperwork. I just want to know, because I didn't ask you this when we were watching it. He says he's 80% done with the paperwork. What do you think, like the last 20% he hasn't quite gotten to yet?
Look, I only have one opinion on this, and it's the correct opinion. So listen up. No matter who you are, even if you're an immigration lawyer yourself, you still need to get an immigration lawyer, a colleague to at least check over your work. He has demonstrated in the past that he has no idea what the fuck he is doing. The only acceptable answer should be I'm 80% done. The other 20%, I'm going to pay a lawyer to do. So it's done quickly and correctly. It's not a measure of how smart you are. These forms are designed to be fuck withable. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They're designed, and it's the same in the UK. These applications are designed to fuck normal people over. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say. I am going to get heated about it because I have a very strong opinion about any situation where that's a concern. Always get a lawyer. Always, always get a lawyer. The first thing that you should say when you go, if you get taken to a police station, is I need a lawyer. And then you don't speak to anyone until you have one. If you don't like the one you have, you can ask for another. Okay.
And the last thing, because we don't want to trigger Michelle here, the last thing on them is just, I just wanted to just touch on where we leave things with them, which is just that,
You just want to do the responsible things that a normal podcaster would do.
well, hey, that's one of the reasons I'm here. Listen, the thing is that they get to a pretty ugly place by the end of this. And again, I don't know because of how they cut this show and this version of the show and the fucking happily ever after with the question mark at the end, and they need to keep you guessing all the way through the 58-hour finale tell all and all of this, and it's going to drive us crazy. I think I like the house idea, but I'm sure I'm going to be back on this mic telling you how much I hate it next week. um
Yeah, 3 weeks in, I think it's going to hit different.
but I do just want to say, I mean, they're leaving. I don't know if all of these. Oh, I guess everyone will be on the tell all. There's no one who we've seen apart from Nicole and Mahmoud, who I don't think.
No, I do not think they were invited.
No, but I don't think there's anyone else who's going to be missing, at least from what I saw.
Speaking of missing, if you're new, first of all, welcome. Secondly, we don't cover Patrick and Thais because that's a decision I made early on for my own mental health. They really annoy me to the point where I can't watch it. And if you're thinking, well, then why are you covering Angela and Michael? It's very simple. There's not everyone covers them. So, yeah.
Well, and so just at the end of Gino, and I just think it's interesting because they're setting up. I feel like in this finale, they were setting up like everyone's in a horrible place. Let's see what happens when we put them in a tell-all house. That was sort of what it felt like. It felt like early aughts VH1 or some shit. And
Did.
you know,
Wow, those were the days.
and so we leave. So another one, just like Ashley and Manuel, ended on a bad note. Gino and Jasmine, and where Jasmine asked Gino to leave. You know, I agree. He stands his ground, but you know, I mean, he stands his ground to pay for another hotel room, which is fine. But Jasmine goes down, gets a different room, and we leave them with Jasmine saying she hates Gino and doesn't want to see him ever again, and Gino
Oof.
basically says, like, if she wants to see her kids so fucking bad, she can go back to Panama now. And it's just like, oh, the love. Oh, it's burning me how hot the love is.
I don't think he has any place talking about her children. And I
Agreed.
thought that was a nasty, nasty place to go.
And I don't feel comfortable talking about it because we don't really know much about her children. I just, you know, where they have not been included in their show, you know, I can't say if that's Jasmine's call or not. That could be production. So we have to leave the kid thing alone and just kind of like, just look at Gino with a horrible side eye, the type of side eye that Ashley's mother looks at Manuel with.
Now, lest you think we're not going to bash someone's mom, let's go over to Kobe and Emily.
Wait. I'm Kobe. Who are you again?
My name is Emily. I want to go home and I want to love my home. I want to fill it with word art that talks about what a queen I am in my own world. I want nude photos of me giving birth to each of my children and pregnant with each of my children. And I want everywhere that I can see covered in a canvas with photos of me and my beautiful family, but mostly of me nude giving birth.
So,
Okay.
if possible, Emily, in a new house, maybe you want like a Georgia O'Keeffe style painting of yourself.
I don't know who that is, but I don't think a realtor is supposed to ask questions like that.
Hey, Emily, you know, I'm just talking to you about the potential art in the various homes in your area that are in your price range.
There's only one type of art that belongs in the home, and that's photographs of family and of moms.
Emily, your feelings on yellow ice in an ice maker.
No, we peaked last week. We're never gonna do that. Look, I have a bone to pick, and it is, I know, look, we all love Kobe. What is not to love? His face is an absolute ray of sunshine. He's a devoted father and husband. I simply adore him, and he is one of the least problematic men in the history of this show. However, you don't have this situation thrust upon you. It is a conscious decision that you two trash bags make every time you decline to use any method of birth control.
She leaves Kobe ready to answer these questions, like as if she just, it's, it's sort of like, Kobe, just tell them how, like, you stumbled in the basement in the dark and you fell on top of me and into me and, finished inside. And then we have a third kid. It was a total fucking accident, mom and dad.
To quote George Costanza, you can stick your sorries in a sack. You two, seriously. This is, look, everyone fawn all over Kobe because he's showing a modicum of respect to these people. Please go ahead. But what's not lining up is his actions. He got her pregnant. They made a decision to have this baby. They said it on camera that they were going to make another baby.
And you're on record saying you do not believe they were praying and spraying.
No. They're fucking liars. They do what they want. You know why? Because they can. And they have the two biggest fucking enablers in the world. And your word, Kobe, isn't worth a damn.
Now, I'm not, now, granted, I agree. He let everyone down, including himself. And we do see
especially
him.
himself.
Yes. And he knows that. Where I want to give him a little bit of credit, and we love Kobe, okay, but this was not a great showing. But where I want to give him a little credit is, and you touched on this in the opener with Emily there, but she's not interested in any home that she doesn't love and buys fully. She sounds like, listen, I'm fucking liquid. I got cash in the trunk. We can just go buy a fucking house. You don't, and you can't. So you rent a house. And in Salina, Kansas, houses for rent are not super expensive. I don't know what their financial situation is, but they have 3 kids. And the fact that they're just going to, she just wants to stay in the basement forever. And at least let me give Kobe a little credit for realizing, like, yeah, of course we need to rent a house. Like, I don't have a problem with that. And he also says that he didn't have a problem with any of the houses they looked at.
Sure, but what good is that when he's not the decision maker and has very little, if any, agency when it comes to making major decisions? It seems like she's the one who makes all the decisions in this relationship.
Well,
and she has the last word.
What's interesting, tell me this, because who do you think's more of the pushover between her parents, David and Lisa? Pushover to Emily, for Emily, obviously.
I don't think either of these lovely people would dream of kicking out their daughter, much let alone their 3 grandchildren. But ultimately they're responsible, and I think her dad is the worst of the two.
I agree, because that came up today, because he was sort of like, oh, well, we're going to have to figure out, and Lisa basically cuts him off and is like, no, there's not. Oh, no, no, no. They have 3 kids. There's another kid, and she's getting uptight and upset, and she has a valid reason to be.
There's some real chickens in the proverbial corn. The corn can't grow if there's chickens in the corn, okay? And if you get that reference, I'm going to love you so hard.
I am going to start bothering Michelle about the legality of the fact that I am allowed to play 15 seconds of copyrighted music on this show. Just saying.
Take it up with our producer. I don't want anything to do with that. Can we talk about Angela and Michael?
Oh, yeah, we didn't get to them yet, did we?
No, we now get to close with them.
Everyone look up a brushy one-string Chicken in the Corn. Great
He's
song.
Very talented.
Super talented.
And I'm not being facetious.
No.
He is really talented, and that I really like that song.
Have we not all been going around singing that song for the past week?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, let's move over to Hazelhurst, Georgia.
Now, I want to say something before, as a precursor to all of this. If this is not Angela's true character, then it brings to mind what people said about Michael Jackson when he died. Now, I know Angela's not a pedophile.
Where is this going, Michelle?
Okay, where this is going is that people said when he died, it would be such a shame if it wasn't true. it would be such a terrible shame, because imagine having all of those, everything that came to light. Imagine if that wasn't true, right? Because on this podcast, we believe victims. Okay. So, with very few exceptions,
True.
It would be such a shame if this wasn't Angela's true character. And I say this because if she is, I think it takes a big hearted person to work in hospice care or nursing of any kind. I'm not saying, I understand that there's a difference and a distinction there, but I I think that this is the worst of the devil's bargain. And if she isn't a racist, hypocrite, abusive monster, that would absolutely break my heart, that she felt that this was the only way that she could support her family. I just can't. That horrifies me beyond measure.
Yeah. I mean, that's I don't have anything on the opposite side to say about that, for sure, for sure.
I just want to pick out a series of moments here. Look, I'm not here for melted Mr. Clean, like someone left Mr. Clean in the microwave. I'm not into
That would
that.
be Mr. Private
Yeah,
Investigator.
I'm not with that at all. I think it's fucking fake, and I am sick of this. I just want to point out a few factual errors or things that I take issue with. Um, why is she telling him not to use the measuring cup when this is the first time he's ever done it?
Just eyeball it.
Because I would assume that the entire, if I've never used a washing machine in my life, there's
Michelle, it's so easy. I'm going to cut you off because you have to just push, mash. Okay, like it's real simple.
Yeah, sure. But if I had a bottle of detergent, I might use the whole bottle. I don't know.
Like literally, it's like, lady, I've never touched a washing
Right.
machine before. You just eyeball it. Who says that to someone? That's like, I've never driven a car before. Should I just slam my foot down on the gas? Like, what are you doing? And I feel like this is trolling, and there's a lot of trolling going on. I'm going to get to something food related, but please, did you have anything you wanted to continue on that topic?
I don't accept that Michael could find his phone in less than 10 minutes in that fucking hamster pit she calls a bedroom. And I'm calling it because I am not going to turn this camera around so that you can see the room that I've been staying in, but it was pristine when I got here and it's not that way anymore. Spoiler alert, okay?
We have a beautiful recording studio on this side of the room.
Beautiful recording studio on this side of the room. That's all that matters. The only other thing I want to raise, two small points of order. One, kings and queens don't wear the same crown. Okay. It's not identical. It's not accurate. And I don't appreciate
You
it.
and I took the same exact note because they're identical ornament crowns. And how hard is it? Come on. They just get like the chess piece crowns. They're not the same.
Yeah.
Silly people.
Distinguish one from the other in some small way.
Yes.
Kudos to the grandkids for memorizing their lines when they're asking him these questions. I thought this
Cute
was
kids.
a beautiful moment, actually, because even if it wasn't their idea to say it, they're asking open, loving, genuine questions. They're not like, what garbage pail did you crawl out from underneath to have feet that look that dirty like they were last week?
I was just going to tie it back, though. I think it makes those comments a little bit more innocent.
Yeah, of course.
No, of course. I know you're making fun, but I'm just saying, I think it makes it more innocent because they're just like, I can remember. You remember being a kid and back when we were kids, you didn't get to see people on phone screens and stuff. But to be a kid and be talking to this guy for the majority of your life or seeing him on a screen and suddenly Papa Michael's here. I mean, I get it. And look, this is just my take. I'm not in that beautiful home in Hazelhurst, but Michael's warmth and genuine vibe is something that I don't know that Angela and Skyla have on a day-to-day basis.
Nope,
Hot
not at
take, right?
all. No, but children are drawn to that,
Yes.
which is why kids like me, or or feel free not to like me in such a way that they need to vocalize it. Um,
I wanted to ask you something about Angela's trolling because this was food related and it's next in my notes.
okay.
Michael's talking about, and that is a beautiful platter of beige, yellow, and brown food.
Hmm.
Hey, it looked scrumptious. It won't do my stomach wonders, but it looked good.
No, East Coast millennials, Northeast Coast millennials can't process dairy or bread or half of the things on that
We
table.
got all the good stuff. What I wanted to ask you, because this is again going back to last week at Sweet Baby Ray's shack house with
Sweet,
with Michael not spitting food, but Angela spitting
sweet
food.
baby Ray's. It's Sweet Baby Ray's roadside ramshackle rib steak
And crocodile tail.
surf and turf.
So last week I had told you, and you did not notice this when we were watching it, but I told you, I was like, is she trolling him because he doesn't eat pork?
Yeah,
And
she
she's
never says
going
pork.
out of her way to never
Yes.
use the words pig or pork.
Nope.
She keeps saying hog.
Yep.
And then Michael's saying, like, yeah, you know, I like to eat turkey, chicken, and she's like, yeah, this is hog, as if it's the same thing, and then gives him like this. And look, I mean, I'm making a face if you're on the video here because just I don't eat ham like that myself, but like if you don't eat ham, it's might not be something that you like. And I just really, I don't know, this offended me in that she's like fake feeding him like a meat that he doesn't eat culturally.
I hate that and it makes me so uncomfortable. Um Goat is a meat in many parts of the world
Yep.
as is sheep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't understand this. It's a microaggression, it's a fucking macroaggression, it's racist as fuck, it's xenophobic as fuck. I don't like it, I don't endorse it, and I don't find it entertaining in the least. Um, Another small point of order, not to be that gal, but it's not ironic that this made up woman is named Cheetah, because let's face it, y'all, this isn't real. It would be ironic if her name was Faith.
There you go. Circle gets the square, Michelle.
Thank you.
I have in my notes, and maybe you can remind me where this came from because I think I got too excited with Skyla's stupidity. I wrote, Skyla thinks Lagos and Hazelhurst are exactly the same. Why did I write that?
Oh, I think because she asked, and I couldn't tell whether this was something to like encourage the kids or not, or whether she was just asking a dumb question. I wouldn't put it past her to ask a dumb question. Um,
Did she say like, did you notice like what's different about Georgia, or was
oh,
it
she
something
was
like
like,
that?
is America different to Nigeria?
No, it's exactly the same.
Nope. It's noted for its similarities to Hazelhurst, Georgia, which, as we know, is representative of the entirety of the US of A.
Not just Georgia, all of the USA.
All of America.
Oh, she's a dummy. And I have to say, I think that like struck a chord with me because look, look. Skyla seems like she has some difficult beliefs that I would not agree with or get along with, just in the way that she's treating various people, specifically Michael. I also don't know. Look, you got a mother daughter situation here where I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. We've seen, you know, very comfortable to ask for eggs and stuff like that in the past. But um, I am sort of surprised at how, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was going to say I'm surprised at how Skyla just seems to think her mother is automatically in the right. I would have thought, like, you know, having known Angela for 40 years, however old
Oh,
she is.
who knows though? You know, like
Hmm.
I think this is such a dysfunctional relationship based solely on the fact that Angela is so desperate to impress her. I think that's so sad.
Well, I didn't even look at it that way. You think Angela's desperate to impress Skylar?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Expound on that a little bit for me, just so I get it.
Just the fact that she's always exaggerating, and I mean, she never tells the truth to begin with. She never tells stories that in any way make her look or sound bad. Um Skyla's seen the show.
Yep, of course.
This part of her mother's life is no mystery to her, and yet Angela just it's the fact that she says these fucking disgusting things as like some kind of flex, you know? Like
Yes.
the way that she talks about Michael is so degrading and
Dehumanizing?
dehumanizing even. And the fact that she does this as like some kind of flex in front of her daughter to like impress her and be like, oh yeah, I can't wait. There are seriously moments, Jack, where I go, are they gonna eat him?
That's what
Like,
it
are they
looks
gonna
like.
hunt him for sport and then eat him? I
Ugh,
don't understand what this is. I really don't.
I don't know where it's going. And then, we have this weird thing where it felt weird and a little aggressive when Skyla says to Michael, essentially, like, why ain't you taking pictures here? Like, and then Michael has to go, I don't have my phone. It's broken. And then that seems like Skyla thinks Michael's lying. And then it's sort of like, hey, does anyone remember when Angela stole Michael's phone and he doesn't have one anymore?
Yeah, and then the explanation for that was a complete
Oh,
misrepresentation of the
so
facts.
bad.
That's what I meant. That's the moment that she was showing off and being like, so then I took the phone and I smashed it and I said, you stupid motherfucker, or whatever, like, I
Yes.
got him real good.
He was on a Paradise Men chat group. I mean, like all of this coming out, right?
And I said, I'll show you motherfucking paradise, you stupid motherfucker. You done picked the wrong American. Well, did he? Did he?
Well, last I checked, he got his visa. So I don't know if he picked the wrong American. If you, Angela, say he's evil and was using you, guess he picked the right American.
You know who the right Americans are and the right people all over the world
Who's that?
are our Patreonies, patreon.com/blighty day. Thank you so much. $5 tier gets you all of our episodes ad free, all killer, no filler. You also get access to a weekly bonus episode. We know we are late in delivering that. You will get the episode that's owing and a brand new one by this weekend.
I'm going to give us a
Promise,
little
promise,
pass on
promise.
that Patreonies because I just want to say part of the delay was that we got really caught up in Welcome to Plathville, and that's become, that's going to be a permanent fixture this year again. So, we're getting back to the Patreon, and we will definitely be making it up to everybody.
We weirdly have had successive health problems that happen on a Friday when we're meant to record that. But anyway, please let us just give us a little bit of grace. We really love doing what we're doing and we want to deliver for you and we want to do it perfect, but we've got a new format, we've got lots of new shows, and want we just still need to work out some of the kinks. That being said, Jack, I think you had a message for our Facebook group, facebook.com/BlightyDayBays. Blighty is spelled Blighty. Bays is spelled Baes. Talk to
Yes,
the
I
folks.
wanted to say a big thank you. Getting a lot more engagement on Facebook and in the group, which I did request. So maybe that did a little something. And please keep it coming. I love it. I wanted to thank everybody. I got some really nice comments and a lot of likes and loves on a lovely anniversary post that Michelle put up for Diana and I yesterday. So I just wanted to thank everybody. It's been so great, slowly getting to know everybody in the community, and as you guys hear my voice more often and hear my takes, it's just nice to be able to share a little bit more about myself with everybody. So I'm loving the interaction, and keep it coming. Keep it coming. Whatever you have to say to me, good, bad, and in between.
That is one way of supporting us. If you can't join the Patreon, which we totally understand, it's summer, it's a crazy time. Um, we don't expect as your ninth, 10th, or 11th favorite reality TV recap podcast that you're going to be reaching for your wallet so quickly and easily. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts. That really helps new people discover us. We really appreciate that. You can also rate us on Spotify. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just Google Blighty Day Fiancé and you'll find it. It's got a lot of numbers in it, which is why I can't remember it. We appreciate you all so much. I love this community. It has always been my first priority and my favorite thing about doing this. My name is Michelle, and I want to love my home.
My name's Jack, and I just really don't feel like eating any pork today.
We
We
love
love
you.
you.